Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of Inside the Steel Cage. Joining us today is Jayson Maples of Heroes and Legends Wrestling. They have their 13th show coming up October 5th in Fort Wayne, Indiana. How's it going today, Jayson?
It's going pretty good, man.
Awesome. And I kind of want to start off. This weekend was a big weekend for wrestling. Did you get a chance to catch the AEW Double or Nothing?
Yeah, I caught bits and pieces of it.
Awesome. And what did you think of that from what you'd seen?
Yeah, I actually was talking a bit about it online. I really think that Cody and the boys kind of lit wrestling on fire, this past weekend, and certainly proved that they've got what it takes to put on a quality product. I believe there was something for everyone on the event. And I think it was a job done.
Yeah, I think overall I enjoyed it. I know a lot of people think it's going to take down WWE, which I disagree with. I think there's room for every company to succeed. It's just if you're not a fan of one thing, it's just another option that's out there.
Sure, I firmly believe there's room for everyone at the finish line. The wrestling business is kind of a oh, now I want to put it, man. It's a strange breed of cat that watches professional wrestling, and I'm proud of those that I'm a fan. Um, there's something for everyone, every fan rather. So in WWE or in AEW or various indies across the country. I mean, if you're a wrestling fan, let's just put it this way: uh, it's a good time to be a wrestling fan. It's there's a lot of stuff out there, and if you like professional wrestling, there's various places where you can watch now. And heard people talk about they want AEW to take down WWE. They want AEW to fail. They want WWE to fail. I look at it like this as a former professional wrestler and now promoter. I don't want anybody to fail. It's another place for the boys to get some work. It's another avenue to watch professional wrestling, and there's room for everyone.
Yeah, I agree, and I kind of said it better myself. And speaking of you being a former wrestler, you'd trained under Ivan Koloff. What was that experience like, and how did you kind of get started in wrestling?
I did stand-up comedy on the road for years after I graduated high school, and even before I graduated, I was coming into Fort Wayne, Indiana, to a local comedy club called Snickers, and Kevin Ferguson was a wrestling fan, and so we talked about wrestling, and I wasn't really into it as much as Kevin was, but oddly enough, I never really thought about being a pro wrestler. I wanted to do stand-up comedy all the time, and so I ended up after high school traveling across the country doing stand, and it led me down to the Carolinas. And one of the comedy spots that I was performing, there were wrestlers up in the front few tables, and I was always the comic that would pick on the people in the front row. When I asked those guys, what do you guys do for a living? They're like, professional wrestlers. And so I was making fun of them and picking on them. And the crowd was eating it up. And one of the guys was like, working his gimmick and flexing up like he was going to, come up on stage and body slam me or something. and I played off it for a little while. And after the show, those guys came up and we talked, and it was they were friendly fellas, and they say, you're a pretty big dude, man. At that time, I was reaching 500 pounds, and they were like, maybe you should think about doing pro wrestling sometime, and slip me Ivan's card. And I put it in my wallet and didn't think much of it. And, months had went by, and I was doing something in my wallet for whatever reason. I pulled that card out and I gave him a call, and I got invited to come up to, it was Indian Trails, North Carolina, and a little warehouse. And I went up there, but I almost didn't even do it, man. It was like, not that it was janky, but it was, it just, oddly enough, it reminded me of our years forward of the Body Slam University that we had. But because I tried to model it off, what I learned at Ivan's. But it was really difficult when I started, man. And heck, I didn't even get in the ring the first multiple times that I went for practice. And excuse me. I was doing push-ups on the floor and sit-ups and cardio. And, I know now that trying to wean out the people that really didn't want it. And I almost quit a couple times, man. I've always, in my life, wanted to be an entertainer, a performer of some sort. That's why I did the comedy. That's why I was, I did some acting and singing, and, I was in musicals and dance stuff in school. Because I've liked being a performer, and I saw wrestling as an outlet for me to perform. And so I stuck with it. And I would do it all over again the same exact way, because I absolutely love this business. Get your answer, man. I rambled off. Sorry.
No, it's all good. And you'd actually made your in-ring debut in 1990, I believe. You've been in the business for 29 years. How have you seen it change?
Wow. Yeah, that's a long time. I just turned 49 this year, back in April. Oddly enough, our last show was on my birthday, and you've done your homework, man. Yeah, I have been in this business over half of my life, and wow, that's a long time. I am so happy about this business. And there have been a ton of changes since I got started. If I'd have never met those fellas, I don't even know if I would have ever thought of where to go to be a professional wrestler, in the 90s, first starting out, early 90s. But today, I mean, you can get on Facebook and find a wrestling school in less than a minute,
Right.
and unfortunately there's places out there to get trained that will gladly just grab your money and put you in the ring, no matter what your skill level. It's so easy now to get in the pro wrestling business, and that upsets me. When I started, Ivan is and always will be, well, Uncle Ivan to me, but one of the greatest, entertainers. And God bless him, he wrestled, very, very, I'll say not late in his life, but he kept wrestling long after he should have physically. And there's a lot of things in the business that we wish we could change. And God, man, you know what? He needs to be in the Hall of Fame so bad. but he taught things that I tried to teach at Body Slam University. I'm kind of all over the place now, and I'm sorry you caught me off guard with the length of time I've been doing this. So you know, when I started, there was still this beautiful thing called kayfabe, and much like television, there is that third side, you know, or the fourth wall that
Right.
you John Cena, fourth wall that you don't break. You know, I mean, there would be television programs that would run in front of a live audience, you know, like Married with Children and Roseanne and a lot of shows that had, you know, live video, and you would pretend they weren't there because you were selling that you were doing something that was real, you know, and of course they would break, you know, character and laugh sometimes at themselves, but you didn't break that wall. And I believe, you know, WWE made the big announcement that wrestling was sports entertainment, which may or may not have well, I won't sugarcoat it. It boosted the business, because a lot of things happened after that that just exploded in the wrestling business. But I like to still run my show, with that fourth wall covered up a bit yet, and we like to try to keep the kayfabe going. And it's hard to do because, well, one, because of the internet. You know, I mean, anybody with a Google search bar can figure out anything they want to about the business, really. And I think, you know, and then they call those people smart marks. I really don't like that term either. I like to just say they're wrestling fans that are more inquisitive about others, and you know, they want to do their homework, and they, oh, I don't know, man, a long way again to get to the story. That's the wrestling business has changed a lot. You know, in part to the internet, in part to just, you know, being called sports entertainment, and I wish some things were still the way they were, but as a whole, I think wrestling has just evolved, and along with everything, you know, I mean, as time goes on, every job or every business evolves, and wrestling has done that as well. But in wow, you know, in all these years, it's still professional wrestling, and I still love it. And I think the fans are really, really getting ready to see some really great wrestling, both on TV and you know, and the independents as well. I can't stress enough, you know, all these fans that love all these certain wrestlers on television. You know, where do you think they came from? They came from the indies.
Yeah.
You know, the same with, you know, minor league baseball teams that, you know, are the feeders for the major leagues. You know, or the arena footballs that are in, you know, cahoots with the NFL. You know, you've got a stomping ground for, you know, the big 3, 4, 5, whatever they are calling it now. Is it still the big 2 or the big 3 or the big, you know, whatever in wrestling? I don't even. But I like it, and I said earlier, you know, it's a good time to be a wrestling fan, bro. It's I don't know. I think about wrestling darn near every day of my life. It's been really good to me for a long time, and you know, my wife and I are both, you know, blessed to be stay-at-home parents with our children, because of the wrestling business. And again, I wouldn't change anything that I've done. I might have worked a little smarter. I haven't actually taught this, you know, work smart, not hard. And some of the years that I was wrestling, I thought about well, not thought about. I did the horrible bumps, on the concrete and through tables, and had stuff blasted over my head and chairs, and yeah, I should have worked a lot smarter instead of the hard work, but I love it, man.
And like you,
somewhere in there, I hope I answered what you asked.
Well, the internet was a big thing because as kind of leads into my next question with the term smarks and everyone kind of thinking they have an inside due to the internet. Do you kind of find in a way that the internet searches may have failed people and kind of trolled them a little bit with recently people thinking the whole Dean Ambrose thing was a work, and then he shows up at AEW Saturday night. So,
well, you know what I'll say about that, man, is Jon Moxley is a wonderful performer. He back before Heroes and Legends, I had a company called EW, and we had John in, and he did one of our X8 tournaments that we had, years ago, and I really liked the guy. Thinking back now, I remember just thinking to myself, he's a great kid, man, and I mean he's younger than I. And I really liked him. He was a good performer, and he's just like I said. I wish kayfabe was still around. He kayfabed everybody. And he did it well. And for him to show up, that was good. It brought back memories of the Monday Night Wars to me with, Hall and Nash and Pac and Hogan and everybody going from, the E to the WCW. And I enjoyed it. And I kind of already knew he was going, just because I'm in the same circle as some of his friends or my friends, and you hear things.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a huge surprise to me, but I thought it was great. And I don't know that he was trolling people so much as he was just working them. I don't know what the difference between trolling and work. It worked, and the buy rate on the pay-per-view I heard was phenomenal. And you know what's funny is people that were trash talking AEW were the same people that were all over the internet looking for free spots where they could watch it.
Yeah.
And I heard, there were thousands and thousands of websites that were putting up, live feeds of AEW for free, which that kind of ticks me off too, that, people don't just support, by buying the pay-per-view or whatever. But, you look at any of those pay-per-views that people were, the Double or Nothing, that people were broadcasting it for free or trying to. Most of them got shut down, but, there were 4,000 to 6,000 to 10,000 people watching the free ones. That one that calculates a lot of lost money for Cody and the boys, but two, that shows me, look at all those people that were wanting to watch the product. God only knows what, the actual number is for the people that were doing it legit. A full house. I know Cody said on the pay-per-view, they set an indoor record 20,000. That arena doesn't really sit 20,000, but it was full. They're filling up arenas and stadiums to the roof, and it's great. And so the people live, they got a really good show, and I expected Monday night. Last night I expected some shots fired back the other direction, and I didn't watch. I was actually outside building a gazebo, but I heard that was it Sami Zayn? Sami Zayn, is that his name? Sam?
Yeah,
Who's
I
so?
think so. Sami Zayn.
Someone said he said something about AEW, like in a promo, maybe. But I don't know that he fired anything back, and I honestly don't know if Cody smashing the Triple H esque chair was a shot. I think it was more, he did an interview after. Did you see that?
I've seen some of the interviews after, but I haven't seen the Cody one yet.
So Cody explained that was him saying, well, so the chair is kind of a symbol of being the king, being the top of your, business, and that Triple H had that throne to kind of show that he was the main guy. He was the king of WWE. And Cody explained it like, well, that might be my spot. People that are smarts know that I run the ship, so that's my throne. But he said what I was saying by smashing that chair was that I don't want to just sit there and be the corporate guy. So I'm smashing this chair not because I'm shooting on Triple H or the WWE, but I'm just saying that you guys all know that's my chair, but I'm smashing it because I'm so much more than that, and I want to entertain the fans. I still think I've got it, left in the tank. I can still do this, and I thought that was explanation of it. I mean, it did look like a shot, but I understand where he's coming from, and he did it a little creatively. They poked things at WWE all night, and I think they're just letting them know we're being a little playful, but we're here, and we're going to do things, and we're gonna maybe not try to take you out, but we just want you to know we're here. And I like that. And I think he did another thing where he said, this is our revolution. I think they did everything right. And that evolved from your question on Ambrose. But he's part of the team, and man, they have got such a great crew over there, bro. The AEW guys got everything going on.
They really do. It kind of trickles down the line on the roster, it looks like, from how they've recruited people like Britt Baker and Kylie Ray and Nyla Rose to Cody, the Box, Omega. It just kind of seems like they know what they're looking for, and it's not kind of like what WCW did, but they're trying to be more fresh in their approach, I think.
Yeah, so for my shows, let me go back here. I don't take for granted one bit the fans that come out to our shows, and I'll get back to what you were saying in a second. What I'm getting at is I always open up our Heroes and Legends events at the ring, thanking all of the fans for being there, because I absolutely know, and this is something I've done at every single show that I've done since 1994 when I started promoting, or 95 rather. Every single show, I've never missed one. I always thank the fans for being there, because I know they could spend their entertainment and they've chose to come see our show. And then at the end of the show, every single show I've ever done, I stand at the exit door when the show's over, and I shake or high five as many people that I can, their hands, again, thanking them, because I want them to know, and I don't want to browbeat them, but I want them to know that we are thankful. And I think that is a big thing to do, to let them know that we appreciate them. And I like to think that we have something for everyone at our shows, no matter your race, your beliefs, your sexual orientation, whatever it is you do in your life, we have something for everyone at our events. And I believe Cody and the boys are doing that same thing. Not only with the entertainment, but with the wrestlers that they have on their roster. And what I also liked that I heard, I want to say it was Cody also, was saying, someone brought up, about, jeez, my brain's a little fried right now, but there's the female competitor that's transgender. Who's that?
Yeah, Nyla Rose.
So Nyla, someone was asking about that, and did they think that was going to be a bad thing? And Cody was like, no. We hire professional wrestlers, and we don't look at the color of their skin or what they do in their. We hire entertainers and professional wrestlers, and I thought that was such a great thing, man, because they're opening the door to anybody, that can entertain and whatever. And someone said something about, of course, there's always a race thing. And Cody was like, look at me, I'm in a biracial marriage, and it's he's got the right concept, he's got the right thing going, and we try to do the same thing. I mean, our doors are open to to everybody. We just want professional wrestlers that can come in and entertain our fans, and let the fans that come to the events, forget what's going on outside the arena doors for, 2.5 hours, whatever it is. Yeah. So I'm sorry, but I always go off on a little tangent and ramble.
No, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
And that kind of led into my next question with you kind of do the fan fest before, matches later. How do you go about choosing talent for both sides of that? From like the upcoming one, you have Sting. The 12th one, you had guys like Arn Anderson, Magnum TA, and then you have like Anthony Totally. You had Amazing Maria there. So it's kind of interesting to hear how you kind of choose the matches and the talent for your shows.
Yeah, I try to start with my headliner. And I've been talking with Sting for years, trying to get him to come through. And it was something that we had to build to. And we're already building now for show 15. I mean, I've got stuff down the pipeline that I'm working on. But we tried to start with Sting for this one, and he was available, so we went ahead and secured. But Sting is mostly known for WCW.
Right.
That was his deal. Even though he did things before that, and he did things after that, but his greatest body of work was the WCW. And so I wanted to look this time maybe to do a lot more WCW guys. And, so now we've got some other great talent that's, former WCW, and I've got a lot of good vendors already coming. One of the first guys I brought in when I started promoting was Barry Horowitz, back when he was still wrestling. And, I had some past brushes with him back when I did some TV with WWF, and he was there, and great wrestler, very underrated. And, a lot of people say he was a jobber, him and Iron Mike Sharp and, some of the other boys, but I've always liked the term enhancement talent.
Right.
Barry had a long run. Honestly, I wish I think he should end up in the Hall of Fame at some point. He had a good career and still does. I mean, he doesn't wrestle anymore, but very smart guy. And we're actually doing a seminar with Barry, at the next event. And just he was somebody that I thought would be fun to have. Then I picked since it's October, I wanted some scary stuff, so I picked up the Boogeyman.
Yeah.
He'll be over there in a little creepy with some worms and some Halloween-esque looking backdrop. And then, I open the door up now for some vendors and let them, decide who they want to bring in. I've still got a few people that I'm talking to for, platinum guests. But I'm also kind of holding off a bit because I see potentially some releases from another company, and I want to catch maybe somebody on that. It's a tedious task to fill up the list of wrestlers. The last show we had 32 advertised guests, and then my main roster. And out of 32, we only lost 2. Henry and Phineas Godwin were not able to make it.
Right.
As a whole, advertising 32 wrestlers and coordinating to get all of them here was a task in and of itself. And we pulled off 30 out of 32, and the 2 weren't our fault. Phineas Dennis owns a restaurant, down in Florida, and it was Easter weekend. It was a big weekend. He said he didn't realize it was Easter weekend when he took the booking. And then unfortunately, Mark or Henry Godwin, his mother took ill.
Yeah.
So, I thought 30 out of 32 was fantastic, and the fans had a great time. And Brooke Hogan being there was pretty cool, and that opened some other doors. Wow, Ari Anderson was fantastic. We've subjectively at each show recently brought in pretty much all of the 4 horsemen. And this next one we're doing that again. Wish we could have got them all at the same time. And of course, JJ is coming in, so it'll be good. Speaking of JJ, we had Jeff Jarrett a couple shows ago. It was fun. I look back from Heroes and Legends 1 to now, and there's just about nobody that we've not brought in. It's hard to bring people that we've not had, which sometimes is why we bring some of the same guys. I think Tatanka still owns the record of the most times here. Kevin Nash is creeping up. Jerry Lawler's creeping up. Just because these guys are great, man. I don't know. It's like you asked. How do you decide how to do it? I listen to the fans. We've also got a group. What do I call that? Like a focus group. And so I've got 10 or 12 fans that we get together and have a round table at Pizza Hut or whatever and chit chat about the business. And I don't open up too much, but I just get their insight and listen to them talk about what really drives them to be a wrestling fan. And I try to implement those things.
Awesome.
And I try to listen to the fans who say, we want so-and-so, but then of course you get someone say, bring a rock. And I'm like, that's maybe not anytime soon.
Right. Yeah, it's not as easy as it looks, obviously, but yeah, I was at the last show and it was phenomenal, from the fan fest to the matches. Definitely a good time.
Thank you.
Yeah, and what's an average day of the show like for you, from getting to the venue to closing down at the end? It's got to be a whirlwind, but
Yeah, so it really begins usually the day before. Um, a lot of the talent likes to get there the day before so they can sleep in, wake up, and be fresh. So, usually 4 or 5 o'clock the day before, we're picking up talent at the airport and getting them settled in and taking them to dinner or what have you. And then, the morning of, I'm usually at the arena about 7 o'clock in the morning. Get the ring loaded in. Luckily, the venue that I use at the Coliseum here in Fort Wayne, they have everything set up for me when I get there. Really, all we have to do is bring the ring in, set it up, and we're good to go. But then you've got all the vendors that come in that they come in and we tell them where they're at, and get them off in their direction of their booth. And of course, then you got catering and craft services, whatever you want to call it. You've got meetings that go throughout the morning as far as making sure everyone's showing up. I always have the guys get there early, so that I know that everyone's there and that the schedule or the event is going to go like how we want it to. Again, meetings through the day, then typically our seminar that we have, which we have one at every show. We've done it with Ricky Steamboat and Terry Taylor, and this one we'll do with Barry Horowitz, and that typically starts at like 10 o'clock, goes just before noon when the doors open. Then it's usually pandemonium for the first hour or so, people bum rushing the table, wanting to buy their, meet and greets or whatever and go get in lines. And I won't say it's a headache, but this last time we did things a little different. I was always doing all of the meet and greets at my table. And this last one, we decided to just do them at the different tables. At least for my guests, the regular guests, that's what they did anyway. Everything's just done at each particular vendor booth, but it's pretty much a headache to try to handle that all, at my booth. So we open that up to everyone, and then it's just maintaining a positive, friendly attitude with the fans. And even if I'm stressing out to the max, I'm putting on that face. And got the earbud in so I can chat with my people backstage. And, we just get the things lined up. We have the celebrities all signing autographs, and then we have fan fest matches throughout the day, sponsored by different independent wrestling companies in the area. They'll bring in who they feel best represents, their company, and we let them have a spotlight match, and then they'll have their own table as well. And then, minutes before bell time, we, in the past, have, military swear-ins. We've had, bands that play. Just depends. I mean, it's a lot of things go into it. And, of course, then we typically start out with a prayer. Then we do the national anthem, and then we get the bell ring and get to clobbering.
Awesome.
After the show's a little bit different, for me anyway, it's I've put my table or my booth where I can see the event going on, up by the front of the arena. All I got to do is just look over my shoulder and I can see, all the action. When the show's over, I hit the front door and shake everybody's hand, and then we try to get out of there before midnight.
Yeah.
And then, I said it starts the day before. It typically ends the day after, middle of the afternoon, because we got to get all the boys back to the airport and say our goodbyes, and then Sunday evening I can rest. So very the one show ends up being a 3-day weekend for my family and for the boys. It's an amazing time, and I feel like each show is getting bigger and better. And of course, we made the announcement yesterday that we tag teamed up with Fight TV.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing this on pay-per-view as well. We don't know all the details quite yet. We honestly just when I started talking to them, I posted up a number 13, for Heroes and Legends 13, and then I started doing a countdown. And luckily, at about 9 o'clock yesterday morning, we finalized everything, because yesterday was supposed to be the day that we announced it. And I was like, man, if I don't get it finalized, what am I going to announce for this 13-day countdown I've been doing? So that just goes to show, sometimes in the business, things turn on a dime, and up to the last minute, I was getting that thing finalized, and it's going to be a good thing, man.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it.
And that's why I was actually going to ask was, how did that deal come about? I know Fight's pretty big with the independent promotions, even with showing Ring of Honor and Major League Wrestling's weekly programming. So it's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, they have been after me for probably, I want to say, at least 2 years, leaning towards 3 years, to get me to sign. And I wasn't leery, because I know Fight TV, and I know it's a good deal. But I was just, man, really want more headaches on show day? Do I really want to add more stuff that I got to be concerned with? And then I thought, you know what? I don't really have to be concerned with it. I'm going to hire a crew, and we'll patch in with Fight, and we'll do that. And then I thought maybe that was going to be more headache, but it really wasn't. And so I've got a good TV crew lined up, and we're going to do this thing. And Fight's on board, and we're on board. And they just, if the fans can't make it, to the live event to meet everybody and then watch the show, they can at least watch the show.
Right.
And what a show it's going to be in October, brother. It's starting to shape up, and we haven't even announced everything yet.
Right, yeah. I've been following. It looks like it's going to be a real great time. And for anyone that's not local to Fort Wayne that's coming into town, what are some restaurants you recommend where they're more locals only instead of like the chains or kind of touristy spots?
There's a lot of great little places, man, that are kind of, I like that too. When I go to somewhere, I like to know where the locals go. For like, if you're a coffee drinker, I'll throw this out there. We're big fans of a place called the Firefly. It's a cool, swank little coffee, almost a little beatniky, but it's just a cool little place. They've got mismatched furniture everywhere through there, and local artwork on the walls, and you can just chill in a sectional couch and drink your coffee, or your they've got some food in there too. It's just a cool little place, little hole in the wall, but it's really nice. For wrestling, or for not wrestling, for dining, I like this little place called Willie's. It's another little kind of a diner. You look at it, you might think it would be on that, what is it, Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives or something that was on the Food Network. So it's kind of one of those little places, man. They've got like these huge tenderloins. They've got breakfast all day. They've got Philly steak sandwiches. It's awesome. I love that place. Let's see. There's a place called BJ's that just opened up. It's kind of it's a brew house.
Yeah.
So they have their own craft beer. There's Mad Anthony's, which is well known in the area. And it's a touristy spot, but it's also, a lot of locals hit it up. There's oh man, you, man, there's a little Mexican joint on State Street. The name is I can't think of it off the top of my head, but they're a locally owned place too. I'll think of it later. I can't remember the name of it now, but it's good. I don't know. I like to go out and eat. I've been trying to back off of that though, man, because I've been training for a possible in-ring return. You've heard it here first. So I'm on a mission, man. I'm actually right now on a 2-week liquid diet with only I'm trying to pull in, and I've been doing this 8 days now. I'm on that, and I'm just doing protein shakes, and I've got a Ninja blender, so I'm getting my fruits and veggies, blending them up, and about 4 to 6 ounces of fish or chicken, just to get extra protein in. But I'm trying to drop about 100 pounds before Heroes and Legends 13, just in case Nick Cutler gets in my face again. I wanted to punch him. He's an obnoxious dude. I love him to pieces. But man, you saw that, right?
Yeah, I did. I was like, oh, is Jayson gonna get in the ring tonight? Like,
I thought about it, but I'm also still nursing a torn meniscus. But hopefully I'll have that fixed before Heroes and Legends 13 as well. I got a surgery set up, so I'm gonna try to be like Steve Austin, not the 316, but the $1 million man, or what was he? The $6 million. We can rebuild him. We can make him stronger. So yeah, that's the deal. So hopefully when the fans come October 5th, they're also going to see a new and improved Jayson Maples. That's what we're really trying. We just installed some more equipment here at home in our gym, and I bought one of those recumbent bikes. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the fucking low one. Yeah.
Out every day, man, except Sunday, and trying to build a better me.
Awesome. Well, definitely want to thank you for taking the time to chat with us today, and we're definitely looking to Heroes and Legends 13. So
yeah, very excited about it, man. Let me throw a plug out there. Of course, heroesandlegendswrestling.com. We're on Facebook at Heroes and Legends Professional Wrestling. Also, you can just look up Heroes and Legends 13. We're on Twitter, Heroes and Legends. There's no D on the and Heroes and Legends Wrestling on Instagram. So please check us out on our social outlets, and be looking for more information and more announcements coming soon. And man, brother, I really appreciate you having me on today.
Yeah, no problem. And we'll see you in October, if not before then. So
right on, buddy. Well, I look forward to seeing you guys, man.
Yep. Cool.
All right.
Thanks.
Thanks again, my friend.
Yep. Bye.